He smiled at every customer for 12 years, said, "Welcome to the store," with the same quiet dignity, and nobody ever looked twice at the 73-year-old man in the blue vest. Until the day 3 armed men walked through those automatic doors and Harold Patterson's hands moved with a precision that hadn't been used in 40 years. What happened in the next 60 seconds revealed why some warriors never really retire. They just find new ways to protect people. Every story you're about to hear was earned, not given. This one belongs to Harold Patterson, a man whose expertise was earned through 3 tours in Vietnam as a Marine Corps sniper, where 73 confirmed saves taught him that protecting others isn't just a job. It's a calling that never ends. Welcome to Earned Stories. Before we share this tale of earned vigilance and continued service, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today? And if you believe stories like this deserve recognition, hit that subscribe button, because every story we tell here was earned through sacrifice, dedication, and the understanding that some duties transcend the uniform. The retail store on Highway 9 in Cedar Ridge served a community of 47,000 people. Every day for 12 years, Harold Patterson had been there to greet them, the steady presence that made the store feel like a neighborhood business. Harold earned his position through consistency and quiet dignity. At 73, he was the senior greeter, the one employees looked to for guidance. "Welcome to the store," he'd say with genuine warmth. "Can I help you find anything today?" What customers didn't know was that Harold's greeting routine was actually a security assessment earned through military training. His station provided clear sight lines to all approaches, and his positioning allowed rapid response to any section of the store. Harold arrived 15 minutes early every morning, conducting a perimeter check that looked like eager employee dedication, but was actually a security sweep learned through deployments where overlooking details could cost lives. His cart was organized with military precision, supplies arranged by relevance and frequency of request. Beneath the standard retail items, Harold kept a first aid kit, emergency contacts, and a communication radio connecting to store security. Harold had earned his calm through 3 tours in Vietnam, where panic meant death, and split-second decisions determined whether Marines came home. The younger employees called him Mr. Harold, not knowing his steadiness had been forged through sniper training, where precision was survival. Harold hadn't always been a store greeter. 20 years as a Marine Corps sniper had earned him retirement through deployments to Vietnam that tested everything he knew about courage and protecting others. 3 tours, 73 confirmed saves, an experience that civilian life couldn't erase. When Harold applied for the greeter position 12 years ago, the manager hesitated to hire someone in their 60s. Harold had simply said, "I can handle the requirements," and proven that military endurance made retail challenges manageable by comparison. Harold chose greeting deliberately. It wasn't about income. His military pension covered his needs. It was about applying skills earned through the highest stakes possible. The observation, threat assessment, and protective instincts that once served Marines could now serve families buying groceries. During lunch breaks, Harold read tactical publications and security journals, habits of continuous learning earned through a career where staying current meant staying alive. He'd quietly assessed every security vulnerability in the store, not from paranoia, but because preparation had kept him alive for 20 years. Harold's routine was informed by sniper training: arrive early, assess the environment, maintain situational awareness, and be ready for threats that might never come but could appear without warning. Tuesday, October 15th, 2:47 p.m., the afternoon shift change. Always the store's most vulnerable time. Harold had identified this 15-minute window years ago, when staffing was lowest and management focused on logistics rather than security. That's when 3 men walked in wearing dark hoodies despite 78-degree weather. Their movements triggered Harold's threat assessment immediately. 2 coordinated for casual customers, 2 purposeful for browsing. The first man kept hands in his pockets while watching the customer service desk. The second scanned for security cameras. The third moved toward main aisles but maintained visual contact with his partners. Harold recognized tactical coordination, multiple operators with assigned roles and predetermined objectives. These weren't shoppers. They were a team executing a plan. Harold's sniper training revealed details others would miss. Weight distribution suggesting concealed weapons. Peripheral awareness indicating practice. Stress markers showing they were operating beyond comfort zones. Harold's assessment took 10 seconds. Armed robbery team. Probably first time, but organized. Targeting shift change vulnerability. Primary threat was escalation if they encountered resistance. Harold reached for his radio, using code words practiced during safety safety drills. Jennifer, could you ask Dave to check camera feeds from Station 1? Think we might have equipment issues near the front entrance. But as Harold watched the three men spread out with increasing confidence, he realized management response wouldn't be fast enough. The situation was developing into a coordinated assault on a soft target. At 2:51 p.m., the tall man in electronics drew a handgun. Harold saw it from 40 feet away, a practice motion confirming his assessment. This was organized crime, with armed operators prepared for violence. Screams started immediately. Customers dropped, ran, or froze with panic that gets people killed. But Harold wasn't panicking. He was calculating. Distance to primary threat, 40 feet. Civilian presence, 20 customers including families with children. Weapon assessment, handgun, probably 9mm. Operator assessment, nervous but committed, finger on trigger. Harold moved with controlled precision, earned through countless training exercises, where everything had to be perfect the first time. His path used product displays for concealment while maintaining visual contact with all threats. The gunman raised his weapon toward the electronics counter, where a teenage employee fumbled with the register. "Open it now," he shouted. Harold positioned himself behind hunting equipment displays, 8 feet from the primary threat, close enough for precision engagement, far enough to avoid detection. His assessment? Dangerous because armed and desperate, but vulnerable due to limited training and combat inexperience. At 2:54 p.m., Harold moved with 40 years of retained muscle memory, executing a precision strike to the gunman's weapon hand using close-quarters combat techniques, where disarming had to succeed in a single motion. The handgun flew 15 feet away. Harold's follow-up was faster, more controlled, using tactical training to subdue the threat with minimal force while protecting bystanders. The first engagement lasted 8 seconds. The primary threat was restrained with injuries consistent with professional defensive tactics, controlled and proportional. But 2 additional threats remained active, both having witnessed Harold's capabilities and preparing to engage directly. The second engagement was more complex because the gunman was prepared for confrontation. But preparation without proper training couldn't counter expertise earned through combat deployments, where survival depended on outthinking equally motivated but less experienced opponents. Harold incorporated tactical deception, movement patterns designed to confuse target acquisition while positioning for optimal engagement. The gunman expected direct approach, but Harold moved laterally, creating multiple potential attack vectors. Harold's engagement was informed by 20 years of neutralizing armed opponents under pressure. The technique was precise, controlled, and executed with professional competence earned through training where mistakes had permanent consequences. Second gunman neutralized in 12 seconds. Weapon secured, position contained using restraint techniques learned through military police training. The third suspect attempted to flee, but Harold's positioning had eliminated escape routes. The final engagement lasted 6 seconds. Total elapsed time from threat identification to complete resolution, 4 minutes and 37 seconds. When Cedar Ridge police arrived at 3:07 p.m., they found Harold standing calmly, monitoring 3 restrained suspects while reassuring civilians still processing what had happened. "What's your background?" asked Sergeant Maria Gonzalez. Harold made a decision about revelation. Marine Corps, 20 years, 3 tours, Vietnam. Sniper, among other things. By evening, word had spread through Cedar Ridge. Harold Patterson, the quiet Walmart greeter, had stopped an armed robbery using skills that revealed a background no one suspected. Detective James Murphy, conducting the interview, was a 20-year law enforcement veteran. "What you accomplished, neutralizing 3 armed suspects without civilian casualties, without weapons, without backup, that's not standard citizen response." Harold, still in his blue vest, replied simply, "I did what was necessary to protect people." 73 confirmed saves as a Marine Corps sniper. And you've been greeting customers for 12 years? Service doesn't end when you change uniforms. These people needed protection. I was positioned to provide it. Chief David Chen, himself a former military police officer, recognized the professional competence he was witnessing. "With your background, have you considered law enforcement or security consulting?" Harold smiled. "I have a job. 12 years at the store and they've been good to me. This was just part of serving the community." By the next morning, local news had picked up the story. Harold's response to media attention was entirely consistent, polite, modest, focused on returning to normal routine. "I appreciate the recognition, but I'd prefer to let the incident speak for itself. I have work tomorrow and customers who depend on me to be there." Corporate offered Harold any position he might want. His response was characteristic. "I'm a greeter. I like greeting people. If it's all right, I'd like to keep doing that." The community response revealed how deeply Harold's actions had affected people who'd taken his presence for granted. Mrs. Dorothy Henderson spoke for many. "I've been coming here here 8 years, and Harold has always been so nice. I never knew he'd done so much for his country, and he's still protecting us here at home." 1 year later, Harold received a letter from Sarah Williams, a 19-year-old who'd been shopping with her mother during the incident. "Dear Mr. Patterson, you probably don't remember me, but I was so scared I couldn't move. What you did wasn't just about stopping bad guys. You showed me what real courage looks like. Because of you, I changed my major to criminal justice. I want to become a police officer so I can protect people the way you protected us. Thank you for your service in Vietnam, and thank you for continuing to serve all of us here at home. I hope someday I can earn the right to protect others the way you do every day." Harold understood then the broader impact of that October afternoon. His story had become part of Cedar Ridge's identity, inspiring young people to pursue public service careers because they'd witnessed earned expertise applied for others' protection. Harold's greatest satisfaction came from knowing his presence made ordinary people feel safer during routine activities. Every family shopping without fear, every elderly customer feeling secure, every child who waved at Mr. Harold represented victory in the ongoing mission of community protection. 2 years later, Harold still arrived 15 minutes early, still greeted every customer with genuine warmth, still maintained tactical awareness. He still considered himself exactly what he'd always been, a man whose greatest achievement was earning the right to protect others, whether they knew it or not. Harold Patterson's story was earned through 3 tours in Vietnam, where 73 confirmed saves taught him that protecting others transcends uniform, rank, and recognition. He never wrote memoirs because his story wasn't finished, never sought interviews because his current mission mattered more than past achievements. Harold's greatest achievement wasn't neutralizing 3 suspects in 60 seconds. It was the daily choice to use skills earned through the nation's most demanding training to serve a community that might never know the depth of his expertise. So I ask you, what expertise have you earned that could serve others in unexpected ways? Share your story in the comments. Tell us about someone whose earned expertise made your life safer or better. Because here at Earned Stories, we believe that the most valuable service often happens in ordinary settings, performed by people whose extraordinary skills were earned in places most of us will never see. Sometimes the greatest heroes choose to use their earned expertise protecting others, one interaction at a time. Thank you for watching. If this earned story moved you, subscribe to Earned Stories for more tales of earned service. And remember, every person serving others deserves respect, but some have earned their expertise through experiences that remind us why courage and dedication are expressions of character forged through service to something greater than ourselves.